A previous date in this court, the defendant pled guilty to possession of a fentanyl-related compound, felony of the 5th degree, with a forfeiture specification. Since then, reports by the probation department as well as Dr. Rinsberg have been completed. We are here today for the sentencing in the case.
Springer.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defense has had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence report and is prepared to proceed with sentencing today. Mr. Schnaufer would ask the court to impose a term of community control sanctions. He is a 66-year-old man who primarily stays at home, often just minding his own business. I will say Mr. Schnaufer, through my relationship with him, can be quite the ornery man. However, I think throughout his interaction with law enforcement and with the court in this case, he has done nothing but be cooperative.
Well, because Mr. Schnaufer has more or less in a veiled manner threatened him? Do I need to make that call?
No.
No. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Springer.
Thank you. I will say that Mr. Schnaufer has expressed frustration to me about the level of Officer Miller threatening him to get out of...
What is the threat? Tell me. I keep hearing this. I hear it from him. I hear it from you. What's the threat?
So we did actually watch the video.
I watched it too, but what's the threat? What happened? What was the series of circumstances that happened that Miller threatened the defendant?
Officer Jacob approaches the car and says, "Are you Dean Schnaufer?" And he says, "Yes." He says, "Step out of the car." And Mr. Schnaufer says, Why are you pulling me over? Mm-hmm. And he says, "Get out of the car." Mm-hmm. And Mr. Schnaufer is inquiring on why he was being stopped. Mm-hmm. And Officer Miller says, "Step out of the car or I'm ripping you out of the car."
Okay, so 3 times he wouldn't get out. Okay, so that's the threat. So you hush your mouth. Okay. So that's the threat that Mr. Schnaufer has indicated, that he better not come across Miller again, or he doesn't know what will happen. Right?
I don't believe that he is sincere in those threats.
Okay, then I don't know whether he's sincere. Okay. I've met him twice, 3 times. This is the 3rd time I've met him. I don't know whether he's sincere. I don't know how many times he's met Miller. I don't know if Miller knows he's sincere. You tell me that he's not sincere, but how do I know that?
I guess I would just ask the court to look at the way he has actually behaved in these situations. And in that stop with Officer Miller and the other officers, after that comment was made, he immediately got out of the car. He allowed them to pat him down.
Then what's the problem? Then what's the problem?
The problem...
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. I'm not done with my question, okay? He goes over for a pre-sentence interview, the written version on 6/28. After this case is done, after he pleads, he's interviewed subsequent to that. And that's, so now we're in July sometime. And so after you tell me that he's all resolved on this thing and calmed down, then he's making these threats against Miller. So why in July now?
I would love to explain.
Go.
So, and as it relates to the stop, I think that his opinion about the law enforcement officers did change. He was cooperative. He allowed them to search his car. They could not find the substances, and he directly pointed them to where they were. He described the box that they were in so that they could find it. He gave a statement. He explained to them why it was that he was going to Euclid with his son. He spoke with Detective Butler and Detective Jacob, and they both indicated to him that he would not be charged for the possession of the drugs, that his son was being taken to jail. He was arrested on that day, and he would not be charged. Mr. Schnaufer was permitted to leave. He did not believe that he was going to be charged with the possession, although he knew that he may be charged with the permitting. And then
he was charged with permitting, wasn't he?
He was, yes. And so then the officers went back and filed a warrant, and they went to his house, and they went and arrested him. And I think in part, Mr. Schnaufer felt like, I've been as upfront as I can. I looked these guys in the face, and I gave them all the information that I had, and they looked me in my face that I wasn't going to be charged. And then they came and arrested me. he was in large part very frustrated by that, and I understand that legally that they are permitted to do that. Him and I have spoken about that, but it was something that he felt was frustrating because of the relationship that he had with them, that he, did what they asked and yet didn't follow through with what they had said to him. So Mr. Schnoffer and I have communicated about what all of his options were throughout this process. We moved forward with the suppression hearing. Mr. Schnoffer respects the court's decision and what was made with that suppression hearing, but that was overruled. He did not wish to move forward with appealing that. He pled guilty in this case. He recognizes that legally what he did was possess the drugs, that they were inside of his vehicle. And, part of the argument that I have here today is just that Mr. Schnoffer made poor choices in the sense that...
But he doesn't respect the decision I made, okay? He doesn't. Because he tells Megan that I can put him in prison, and that would be, quote, the worst mistake he ever did, meaning me. So he doesn't have any respect for anything, okay? Now, this is in July, okay? This is in July, okay? That's the most recent thing out of his mouth. So he's going to get, apparently, he's going to get me and he's going to get Miller, because not only Miller, but Jacob and Butler, apparently. Because he stated to Megan that he better not see these officers, especially the one who threatened him, that he doesn't know what he's going to do. Asked what he meant by that. I just better not see them. If they push his buttons, he retaliates. That's just the way he is. He said that. Now, I don't know whether anybody in this room thinks it's a big deal other than me. I think it's a big deal.
I just want to explain to the court that I think that although Mr. Schnoffer may disagree with what the law is, and he may disagree with the penalties that could be imposed in this case, that he understands what they are and has still continued to move forward with the case. I think that he, does think that it would be ridiculous if you were sent to prison for the case that has occurred.
Whether he thinks it's and clearly there's certain parameters on an F5, and I trust you've made him aware of those parameters.
I have.
Okay. But he's not going to prison on this case. Okay. But none of that's got anything to do with what I've been saying. Okay. So once again, do I have to call Gunch and tell him to warn Jacob, Butler, and Miller about Mr. Schnoffer? Seems like I have to, based on what he said within the last couple of weeks.
I think he expressed his frustration to Officer Miller and Butler when Butler and Jacob when they arrested him.
Okay, that was in January.
At the preliminary hearing, when I spoke with Officer Butler in March, he expressed that yes, Mr. Schnoffer was very upset when he was arrested. And we had a discussion.
In January?
In March, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
The preliminary hearing.
And this happened in January. So he was upset in March.
Yes.
And he's upset in mid-July with Butler, with Jacob, and with Miller, and potentially with me, because one of the things he said, he doesn't know what he'll do in court on August 2nd. He may go nuts. Well, you said that.
Well, I know I said that, but I didn't mean to say that.
Then why are you saying it?
Because I'm upset.
Okay? A lot of people that come in here are upset.
But I can't explain it. It's a little different from me. I get nervous, and
So what are you going to do when you see Miller next time?
I'm not going to do anything. I'm over with it.
Within the last 2 weeks, you're over it?
Yeah, I'm completely done with it. I don't hold any grudges against him or anything. I just want to be left alone. That's all I want to do.
I know, you said that. You want me to leave you alone. You said that.
No.
Okay.
It's whatever you feel like you want to do.
Well, I don't generally do whatever I feel like I want to do. Okay. I do.
Right.
In terms of probation, what is what I believe is necessary under the circumstances with input from your lawyer, the prosecutor, the probation department.
Right.
That's what I do.
Okay.
I don't come here to put conditions on you or anybody else to bust your balls, okay? It's not what I do,
True.
okay? So, but I don't appreciate you talking the way you did about Jacob
Well,
and Miller and Butler, okay?
okay.
All right. So what else do you want to tell me about anything? About your situation, about this situation, about anything?
I just still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. You go probation or?
He's gonna decide that, so he wants
Okay.
tell him about your health.
But I'm not very good in my health. I mean, I gotta go to the hospital here and there, get my blood drawn, because my blood gets real thick, and then I can't breathe. And
What's the condition, the medical condition?
well, medical condition is my red and white blood cells are multiplying by the second. I can drown in my own blood.
What's the treatment for that?
Eliquis. It's a blood thinner. And right now my Eliquis is not working. I have to go to the doctor, then he has to prescribe me some different medication, which I can't afford. And if I don't have the Eliquis, I can die.
Who do you go to? Which doctor?
Dr. Wilson, my heart doctor.
Who are you living with?
I'm living with my son, Michael Schnaufer.
Is he still on the run?
I don't know. All I know is he's in treatment. Is he on the run?
I don't know. Wasn't there a warrant out for him?
There is a warrant out for his arrest.
Okay. For this
There is a
offense?
warrant?
For this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else you want to tell me?
I'm sorry that whatever I said, I mean, like I said, I just want to be whatever you decide.
All right, Mr. Gretzky.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state will note that the comments by Mr. Schnaufer been taken into consideration and that the state does take them seriously. All the comments made toward the Mentor Police Department and the court. The state's recommending community control sanction defers to the court as to specifics, but asks the court to consider some facts which have not been mentioned yet when fashioning an appropriate sentence. I know the court is very aware of the facts since there was a suppression hearing with testimony, but I would just reiterate a few. The statements that were made by Patrolman Miller to the defendant to get out of the vehicle were not threats. Those were orders that were made by Patrolman Miller during the performance of his duties to get someone out of their vehicle during a traffic stop. Not threats, orders. Further, the defendant was upfront with Detective Jacob about what had happened and about the drug deal in Euclid once Detective Jacob confronted him with the fact that they had been following them for hours, knew where they were, and knew what was going on. And finally, I would like to note that this was not a mere happenstance possession of the fentanyl-related compound. It was not merely taking his son to buy drugs in Euclid. There was an effort and orchestration of vehicles and individuals to make sure that they would have the greatest chance of evading police detection. The statement from the defendant was that the drugs were kept in his car because his son and his son's girlfriend were more likely to get pulled over. I would further ask the court to take note that the defendant has stated that he has never had a period of sobriety in his adult life. Thank you.
All right, I looked at the pre-sentence report, the Brinsberg report, considered all the applicable statutes. I'm going to place you on a year of community control, 3 days in the jail with credit for 3, no illicit drug use, and then you'll be tested and pay the cost and supervision fees. Okay, now, if I remember right, the reason that you were driving around your son was because if he didn't use, he got sick. Is that what I remember? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He got very, very ill.
Okay. Well, he's going to have to take care of himself.
Right.
Because your condition, as you describe it to me, requires you to take care of yourself.
Right.
You can't. How old is your son? 27, 28?
28.
Okay. So And you should be pretty pissed at him for putting you in this box.
Oh,
Okay?
I am.
All right? So stay away from him. I'm not going to order you to stay away from him, but stay away from him for your own good.
Okay.
Because nothing good come of you hanging around him and doing make his
Right.
girlfriend do it. Okay, if that's what he's going to do. Anything else? The other charges dismissed, items are forfeit. Anything else, Mr. Gretzky? I'm not going to read him the PRC stuff in case you were going to ask.
Then nothing else, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Springer?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, we're adjourned.